So, hello and welcome to the Malaysian Grand Prix here at Sepang. On pole today we have BVN with his second of the season, and alongside him is once again Martin McFry. I think, has he started on the front row every race this season? It feels like it. And on row 2, we have their teammates, Benoit Vuclet with his best qualifying effort of the season, and Takuma Taki for Racing Point. On row 3, we have the second fastest Dutch driver in the world, Emma Kickert, and Akira Yamamura for Black Monster. On row 4, it's both of the March 16 entries for Toto Wolff. This is Gary Pacer and Jesus Castel. And on row 5, we have John Bean in the second Block Monster and Edward Hume in the second Simpson. On row 6, it's James Wilmington for TVA and Nathaniel Cameron in the Jones. His teammate, 2020 Formula 1 World Champion Diego Alvarez Torrente, is starting 13th, right in the middle of the pack, next to the other TBA of Monica Flatter. It's a row 8 lockout for the Euromotor Fords of Kinan Ordalu and Rico Sokodo, making a nice, about a second off the pace of the next I3 runner, but they did out-qualify all of the W12, so I suppose that's some sort of progress. It's the Scuderia Adriaticas on row 9 with Anu Voizu and Carmen Alvarez Torrente. And the top qualifying Bentley in this race is Pierre Saint-Laurent, next to Andrei Kremnitzy in the checkmate. Points leader, Klon, is starting 21st in this one. He'll definitely want to be moving up in the running order. He starts next to a guy he's been battling with on track more than anybody else, I think. It's Václav Mausch in the second checkmate. Philippe Nicolas is starting 23rd in the holiday, with Tomo Kazama out-qualifying her teammate. She starts 24th. And on the final row of the grid, we have Humbert Moyemutier, who has actually out-qualified someone, that someone being Naoki Shinjo in the second of the two mechas. And with that, the race start is just moments away. I'm not going to keep with this camera angle on the start, because that would be not very... Hold on. Oh shit, I don't have the sound on. Hold on, I can fix this,
Oh no, we don't have to hear Grand Prix 2's Alpha engine noise.
Now you do! Oh god, that's too loud. Okay, now we go. And on the start, it's BVN leading from Benoit Vuclet with a big dive up the inside, and Benoit Vuclet takes the lead on the start! What an incredible start for Benoit Vuclet, who's now already streaking away from BVN. Emma Kicker up to 3rd, Gary Pacer 4th, Edward Home 5th, Martin McFry with a terrible start, he's down to 6th already. As they file their way through the opening sector, we have James Wilmington taking a look to the inside of Takuma Taki, who's dropped down to 10th. That's also a bad start for Taki, but a great start for Benoit Vuclet, who is streaking away with this lead.
The dirty side of the track being a real hindrance today.
Indeed, it certainly seems to be, as we look at the order further down the field. We've got Shijo Moyemutier still at the rear. Václav Mausch with a terrible start, he's down to 24th. Kazuma, Kremnitzy, both of the checkmates with terrible getaways. Torrente as well with a bad start. And Klon has moved up. A great start for Klon, he's up to 17th. Good start as well for Kinan Ordalu, he's up to 13th.
Oh, that's the one.
And Emma Kickert there fending off a bit of a challenge there from Gary Pacer for third place. As Benoit Vouclair leads lap 1 by 1.75 seconds. A great opening lap for the Frenchman. Benoit, of course, the last remaining scion of the storied Vouclair family name. It's been a long and difficult road to this point, but in that foxtail, he's definitely shown that he has every bit the talent of his namesakes, I feel. Starting to look like the field is spreading out a bit here. Let's stick to the intervals. No, it doesn't look like anybody's making a move there. Well, it was a good start for Emma Kicker, but I don't think she quite has the pace to challenge the two cars ahead of her currently. Definitely looks like she's more preoccupied with fending off Gary Pacer, who takes a look to the inside, heading into the final corner. And that is Gary Pacer up into third place. Edvard Holm has also had a good start. He's up to 5th place now. It's another fastest lap for Benoit Vouclair. Kumataki, I think, has gotten past John Bean as well. And that is Yamamura making a move on Castell for 7th place. Ooh, Home there, really looking for a way past his teammate. Kicker just does not seem to have the pace early in this one. I wonder if she's taking on extra fuel to maybe try and make this in a one-stop. We're expecting a 2 or 3 stop strategy from most of the runners today, but we'll see how exactly that pans out for her. Yes, there goes Home for 4th place, and Kicker doesn't make it too difficult on her teammate. She's obviously on a different pit strategy. As Takuma Taki has also now made it past Castell into 8th place. Castell also having a bit of pace issues on the in the opening laps here. Further back, it seems that Anu Voizu has gotten around Klon for 17th place. That's 2 points gone for the championship leader currently. But of course, there is still a long way to go in this race. A lot can still happen. That's Nathaniel Cameron making a move on Kinan Ardalu for 14th place. And makes it stick. Looks like the two checkmates have made their way past the V8 runners now, but again, they find themselves at the back of the W12s. It just seems that every time they qualify well, they just don't get a quite good enough quite good enough start to make the most of those good qualifying efforts. Vouclair running very similar times to BVM behind him. This is really quite a sight to see. Benoit Vouclair finally fulfilling all of that talent we always knew that he had. That is Diego Alvarez Torrente there, making a move on Monica Flata for 12th place. A little further up, Martin McFry under attack from Yamamura and Taki behind him, but he's holding on to that 6th position so far. Again, a disappointing start for the Northern Irish driver, but he's hanging in right about where he should be, at least. Although, again, it'll be a bit disappointing for him seeing his teammate now up to a 2-second lead over BVN out front.
Taki tried to attack in the back, but that didn't stick.
Yes. I think Yamamura might be getting a bit of a run here down into the end of the 2nd sector. Makes a move to the inside and takes 6th position. Good move there for Yamamura. Was starting to lose a bit of time there, I think, behind McFry. Now can continue their try and make their way back through up through the field. I think they lost a couple of positions off the start, so we'll definitely try and recover those. Although now McFry is coming back at Yamamura with a good run down the back straight here. Now onto the front straight. Not such a good run out of that final corner, but there is a lot of a very long front straight here. Of course, lots of opportunity to slipstream, but not enough for McFry to take a look to the inside of Yamamura for that 6th position. Meanwhile, Castell behind them, hanging on to 9th, although John Bean again in hot pursuit for that position. Ooh, I don't think that was the place to make that kind of move there, Takuma. That was definitely ill-advised, poking your nose in there. Fortunately, Jesus Castell not able to capitalize on that. Taki holds on to 8th, but I'm gonna have to try and catch back up to McFry's. We still somehow have all 26 cars running. Although the timing and scoring for Naoki Shinjo seems to be a bit broken. He is still running, though.
Though something doesn't seem right with him, because he's very slow even compared to the other V8s on the straight.
What? Shinjo?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to be any sort of issues. I think it might just be he's got quite a lot of fuel on board. That might be it. Not that much more than Moy Moutier or Cosimo or Nicola. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on with. So seeing 176 at the end of that straight. Yeah, it's only a mile an hour slower than Moy Moutier at the end of the straight, which is perfectly reasonable given the extra fuel he has on board. As we've seen now, Carmen Alvarez Torrente, who is also in the middle of the title battle currently, has been passed by both of the checkmates. I think oh yes, she's definitely on a one-stop strategy with that much fuel on board. Top 4 cars now really pulling away from Emma Kickert, who's still maintaining a bit of a healthy gap over Yamamura for 6th. McFry still 7th, Taki 8th, Castell 9th, and John Bean in 10th. I think Taki might be gearing up for another run at McFry down the straight here. Ooh, not quite enough. He'll have to try and get a good exit here and make the move it down into turn 1. And there he goes for the move. And Taki's through into 7th place. So it's McFry from 2nd down to 8th after 8 laps. So not a good start for the championship hopeful. Comes into this race only 19 points behind Klon. I think he's still in position to really close. Well, yes, he's definitely in position to close in on the championship lead, but not as much as he would likely be hoping for. His teammate is still up front, still running quicker lap times than BVN behind him. This has really been a statement drive in these opening laps for Benoit Bouclet. But we will have to see if this is perhaps a bit of a glory run to start off this race, because the pit stop window for a free stopper should be opening in a couple of laps. And we'll see then if he's doing a free stop or a 2-stop strategy. On board now with John Bean as we see if he can make a run here at Jesus Castel for 9th place. Takes a look. Yeah, that's a very good, very clean move there for John Bean up into 9th place. Definitely seems to have learned his lesson from Brands Hatch. It seems that the field is already quickly spreading themselves out, but as the pit stop windows will be opening on the following lap, we'll definitely see how...
We got yellows!
Oh, we do have yellows! Oh, that's, That is Diego Alvarez Torrente with a transmission issue! Oh no! And that is the 2020 Formula 1 World Champion, again out of another race. It's been a nightmare for him and Jones this year. They've finished only 2 races so far this season, and he's not going to be getting a 3rd finish this season. All their team's hopes now rest on Nathaniel Cameron, currently running in 13th, and well off any of the i3s, save, of course, the Euro Motors, who are still somehow slower than him. Even though Cameron has significantly more fuel than they do. I think we're seeing a bit of a battle here between the checkmates. That's Kremnitzy. I think he's been passed by Malaysian. He's trying to come back at his teammate. Good inter-team battles here between the checkmates, but they are allowing the 2 factory Bentley entries to pull away. As that's Klon who's passing down Voizu, who has some brake issues on her Scuderia Adriatica. Oh, it's been a disastrous season for Voizu so far, who, despite that win at Monaco, has really struggled to finish a lot of races. I think hopefully she should be able to make it back to the pits and get that fixed. We'll have to see.
Particular shame because he was running away from every other W12 competitor.
Yes, she's generally been one of the quicker W12s. Even quicker than her teammate who's in the championship fight, but she does make it back to the pits, should get that problem fixed. But it will cost her some amount of time. Fortunately, she wasn't too far away from making a pit stop. So it shouldn't affect her strategy too badly, as we also seen Tomo Kazuma with an oil leak on the mecha. That's a 2nd consecutive DNF for Tomo Kazuma, who just doesn't seem to have any luck at all. And that will really affect Mecha's hopes of taking the World Constructors Championship, as Of course, their great credit in that battle is their ability to regularly finish races. Well, if Kazuma is now retired from 2 consecutive races, that's really going to make it wide open for both Bentley and Holiday to start making it a 2-horse race between the pair of them, as we're seeing Gary Pacer and Edvard Holm now making their pit stops from 3rd and 4th place. They're also on free stoppers, it would seem. That elevates Emma Kickert up into 3rd place. But now still a fair distance behind, yes, about nearly 8 full seconds behind BVN and 10 seconds behind our race leader, Benoit Bouclet. We're seeing now Home and Gary Pacer come out behind the Euro Motors. I would imagine they probably would have hoped to have jumped ahead of them, but they'll have to try and get those moves done on the track, try and avoid losing too much time behind the slower traffic, and make the most of the fresh tires they have on those cars now. Taki currently marginally quicker than Yamamura and Kicker ahead of him, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to make a move on those two. Let's see if anybody makes a pit stop on this lap. None of those are coming in. Nobody in the ARWS is pitting so far in this lap, as we see now Edvard Holm closing in on the VTuber sensation Riku Sokodo in the Euromotor. Not able to close in down the front straightaway. He'll have to try and make that move heading at the end of Sector 1 into Turn 4. Losing a bit of time there behind the Euromotor, but not too much as he makes it stick to the inside and takes the position back. Less than ideal though for Gary Pacer, who's going to have a bit of a tougher time getting past in this section of the course. Oh, don't go there, Gary. Yeah, no. Yeah. That's not an overtaking spot, Gary. I don't know what you were thinking there. As Benoit Bouclet now pits from the lead. That is going to hand the race lead to BVN as soon as he gets past the Foxtail currently in the pits. So indeed, that was a bit of a glory run for Benoit Bouclet, who's on the free stop strategy now. Emma Kicker coming through into 2nd place, as we're also seeing John Bean and James Wilmington in the pits as well. And we've got another car retiring, it seems. That's Nathaniel Cameron with a suspension failure. It's another double DNF for Jones. And
that's beyond tragic for them at this point.
Yeah, it's been a complete disaster of a season for them.
The Racing Gods really said fuck Jones in particular.
Yes, they definitely have said that to them this season, it seems.
Like you get nothing, you lose. Good day, sir.
they haven't even gotten a single podium finish this season. They've been in positions to capitalize on them, but and that's Andre Krebnitsky has also developed a bit of a brake issue. He's also in the pits. But
Z2 happens really challenging these cars, and a lot of other difficult braking points. So that is to be expected up to a certain point.
Yes, indeed. It's Krebnitsky also had to try and recover from a bit of a poor start on this one, so it perhaps makes sense that he used a bit more of his brakes than would have been ideal. Seeing Edvard Holm now closing in on Kinano Daulu in the other Euromotor as Takuma Taki makes the move and into the pits. Whoa! That was a bit risky, don't you think?
Clearly trying to send a message there. I don't know how intelligent that message is, but it is a message.
That message presumably being, I am the superior Japanese racing driver, it seems. That doesn't really seem like it would have been the ideal thing to do at that situation, but he didn't crash, which I suppose is something.
We're gonna have to ask our Japanese...
Sorry, what's that?
We're gonna have to ask our Japanese colleagues if there's any rivalry between the two that we are not aware of, some sort of feud.
Quite possible, as Taki in the pits, Monica Flatters in the pits, and Edvard Holm now closing in on Kinan Ardalu, trying to still make this free stop strategy work as Riku Sokudo is now in the pits. Holm going around the outside of the Euromotor for some reason. I'm not entirely sure this is the best move you could be making, but he's holding on that outside line and has to back out in turn 2. Not really sure what his thinking there was. Perhaps it was a simple if-gap car mentality that seems to be very popularized these days.
I think it was more confidence. Like, the idea was to go around the outside, then have the inside on that snail-like loop, but he just didn't see it through and backed out when he had the good position.
Perhaps that's a bit of a, yes, as you say, a bit of a confidence issue, perhaps a bit of inexperience, of course. Holm has been up through the single-seater junior ranks, as we see Vasil Mausch in the pits. But he spent most of his career of the past 10-15 years in the racing sports cars on a more of a part-time basis, so still getting used to these cars, it would seem. And as it is now, he's losing buckets of time behind that Euromotor of Ardalu. Meanwhile, Benoit Vuclet is making hay in that clear air. He's got a good gap of... we'll see in a minute. Oh no, he has to pit again! Benoit Vuclet also has a brake problem. Perhaps he was just pushing too hard on those opening laps and used up his brakes. That's a real shame for the Foxtail driver who was really hoping to try and get that first win for himself this season, but I don't think it's going to come today after that. I think that means that the current favourite to win this race now is, surprise, surprise, BVN. He's now got a 9.5 second lead over Emma Kickert. We've seen both Holm and Pacer make their way past Ardalu. They'll have clear air to work with for a while here, but I think the best of their tires have already been used up trying to get past the Euromotors.
So the good news is that managed to avoid the two Bentleys, so he won't have to do any additional overtaking for a while.
That is true. we're now past the window for free stoppers, so I think any pit stops from here should be our expected 2-stop strategies. That means BVN, Kickert, Yamamura, McFry, Castelholm, Pacer, Odalu, Taki, Bean, Wilmington pitted. And Bean and Taki. What am I talking about? And Home and Pacer. What am I talking about? The top 5 are on a 2-stop strategy. And Odalu. Riku Sokoto making a move on Carmen Navarez Torrente for a 16th position. Torrente also on the, presumably the 1 or the 2-stop strategy here. Edward Holm there just put in a 140.8 on his previous lap in clear air. Pacer about a full second slower for some reason. They are lapping quicker than the cars ahead of them, but I don't think it's going to be enough to make up for the time that they lost, as we're now seeing Taki make his way past Ardalu. John Bean next up to pass the Euromotor. As now we're seeing that's Akira Yamamura in the pits. They're making their first stop of the day. And that's Emma Kickert with an engine problem on the Simpson Sunbeam. That's really gonna throw a wrench in her championship ambitions after winning Brands Hatch and at Austin, Texas. It's not going to be another good points haul for her today.
Since I can finally speak, I can say Emma Kickert is the smokiest Dutch driver in the world right now. Certainly.
As we're also seeing Keenan Ardalu in the pits for Euromotor. And that's really going to take away any threat that BVN had of anybody challenging for this race, as Emma Kickert is pushed off the track and out of the race. Another DNF for her in that Sunbeam. Simpson
And we got
Sunbeam.
one of the Bentleys in the pit.
That is Pierre Saint-Laurent. He's also on the 2-stop strategy, it would seem. Now seeing Anu Voizu close in on Humbert Moyamude. This is a battle for position. But Voizu presumably is... Yes, she pitted with a brake issue. So, looking to recover from that. She is still ahead of... there he is, Pierre Saint-Laurent in the Bentley. So, she hasn't really lost too much as a result of that brake issue. It did really fall into... Well, I mean, like, obviously you wouldn't like to have a technical issue on your car, but, like, the timing worked out for her, at least, in terms of her strategy. BVN now with a 16-second advantage over Martin McFly. Not sure exactly what the Fry strategy here is, but it is actually looks like a one-stop. So it is just he just does not have the pace of BVN. As Kalon, our championship leader, is in the pits from. What is he running? 14th, and Philippe Nicolas also in. So the two biggest championship rivals at the through most of the season so far now pitting on the same lap. As I think we've got another car slow. It's BVN, the race leader, is in trouble! And his engine has completely let go on the racing point, and he is out of this race when it looked like he had it really in the bag. And that hands the lead to Martin McFry.
We have a tie for the smokiest Dutch driver in the world.
It would seem so, as Jesus Castell is now pitting for from second place in the March 16, and that is going to elevate Edvard Holm up into second place. So, although the strategy isn't quite working out for Holm, he does look like
Lauren in the pit again?
Is who? Yes, he was.
That can't have been planned.
No, that was definitely not a planned start for Pierre Saint-Laurent, who only just pitted a couple of laps ago. It was a good spot there. And he comes out right ahead of Takuma Taki, who can't be too happy about that either, having a car rejoin right in his path as he's trying to chase down Edvard Holm for, Edvard Holm and Gary Pacer for second and third. Indeed, that's now put Pierre Saint-Laurent down into dead last of all of the cars that are running currently. And quite a ways behind Philippe Nicolas as well, so another disappointing race for the Canadian, who again shows that he does have the pace of his more esteemed teammate and team boss, but just doesn't quite have the finishes to back it up so far this season. So now seeing Benoit Vuclet make his way past Monica Flatter, trying to recover some of the lost time from that technical issue. Moyen Moutier's in the pits for Holiday. Scheduled 2-stop strategy for him. Yes, the Euromotors currently are running in 11th and 12th currently. Sort of in a class of their own. Not really any sort of threat to the i3s ahead of them, but not really threatened at all by the W12s behind them, which is some form of progress, I believe. Of course, the previous few races have really been characterized by them forming a bit of a train of W12s behind them. This is now seeing Philippe Nicolas really all over the back of that checkmate of Andrei Kremnitzy. This is battle for position, 18th position. You should see Kremnitzy really bolt away down the straight, but no, he's not. And I don't think that's a technical issue. I think the checkmate is just doesn't have the pace of the Holiday, which is really quite a turn up for the form books here. Like, the Holiday definitely is a very good chassis, but down the straight you would not expect it to be able to outpower the Bentley powered checkmate there. That's really quite a sight to behold, I believe. He is pulling away as well. This is real.
It seems.
I can't imagine the scenes on the checkmate pit wall, seeing a car significantly down on power from them just drive away from them like this. As we're seeing now Martin McFry making his first pit stop of the race.
Yeah, it seems that, I mean, even Holiday is a new team, but it seems like Checkmate especially is still struggling to get on top of the Bentley engine. It's very shaky form recently. Of course, they got a podium in the first race of the season, but since then it's been mostly a downwards trend. So
yes. Still, they do have a good amount of experience, I believe, in junior Formula. I think they'll eventually get their heads around the ARWS formula, as we're now seeing Edvard Holm in the race lead, following McBride's pit stop.
Well, not entirely, because they signed up in Auto 2, which then got cancelled, so yikes.
Oh no! Edvard Holm spins out of the lead! Gary Pacer takes over the lead.
And
Edvard Holm
bottle.
is beached in the gravel. I don't know if he can get it out of there.
We need a replay. That was a weird spin.
He just overcooked it entering the corner. Not really under pressure from Gary Pacer. He was maybe like a second or so behind, but I don't think he was really needing to push hard at that point. But now Edvard Holm stuck in the gravel.
That is awful for Simpson. Awful for Simpson because Kicker retired with an engine failure. Now Holmes dropped it from the first place.
He's finally got it back onto the track, but that is a significant amount of time lost for Edvard Holm.
No, and it was the same corner where Kicker. If you see that, there's Kickert's car from. There was retired. There's Holm coming out of the gravel. That is unbelievable.
Yes. Oh, that's a real shame for Simpson, who've now lost. Well, they lost their best hope for the championship early in this one, and their best hope for the race win was. After that was Edvard Holm, who's now well out of any hope of a podium, surely at this point. Not really looking like he'll be under threat from the Euro Motors, but it's going to be a job for him to pass any of these runners further up.
I just had a thought. It's also possible that Holm slipped on Kickert's oil.
That is impossible. That is not impossible.
That's not impossible, but I would consider it improbable given the amount of... It's been a while since Kickert retired from the race. So, I don't know if that would... I mean... I don't know how he would have found the oil if nobody else in this race had.
Also noteworthy that Wöckler, despite an additional stop, is only less than 3 seconds behind his teammate.
That is true. Yes, Wöckler has made 2 stops so far today. Unfortunately, he's still due to make 2 more, so, any hopes of a Benoit Wöckler win in this one, I think, are, well and truly down the drain. Still, it's been a great drive for him. He likely won't get he likely won't get the result he deserves for this. But we're definitely seeing he's putting in a very worthy drive today. And John Bean is now pitting with a brake issue. Oh, I think all these ARWS teams may have miscalculated how much they would be using the brakes around this course, because we're seeing an awful lot of them today. Well,
I mean, we're also talking about Malaysia in mid-September. I wager it's not very cold in Malaysia around these times.
No, probably not.
So...
Anu Voizu is now up to 13th position, despite that early brake issue of her own. Still, despite that, looking like she'll have a great shot at finishing the best out of those runners, running ahead of Faisal Malsh and Klon in 14th and 15th. Prix has just put in his fastest lap of the race on those new tires. Let's see if he can... he's currently 10 seconds behind Pacer and Taki, so... And that's Akira Yamamura with an engine failure! It looks like it's going to be another failure to finish for Akira Yamamura in the Block Monster. And any hope of them scoring their maiden podium seems to be down the drain in this race as well. It also releases Martin McFry, though, to try and chase down Gary Pacer and Takuma Taki as he tries to increase his stranglehold over the race at this point in the running. Late Nicola now battling with Carmen Alvarez Torrente for 16th position. I think Nicola doesn't really have the tires to be fending off the Adriatica, but he has pulled away by quite a margin over Kremnitzy. Now see Gary Pacer just deciding he didn't want to have that second lead over Takuma Taki, as I think he just misjudged where Kremnitzy was going as he tried to lap the checkmate there.
Already going ahead, that's crucial for the championship.
Indeed, as Pacer now makes his second pit stop of the race, handing a lead to Takuma Taki for Racing Point. And we're also now seeing Benoit Bouclet in the pits.
Gary Pacer having a good race for once, but he's in the pits. Well, not even halfway there yet, but
yes, he's on
quite a race.
Free stop strategy, should be expected to pit once more around lap 40 or so.
Yeah, it's very hot in Malaysia, so not too surprised that the tires are dying earlier than expected. Well, Smash, Klon. Taki is lapping Nicola, who I can't remember. Is he still the championship leader?
No, Nicola lost the championship lead last time out in Austin. I think it's a 4-point margin he's behind Lon by. So now seeing one of the Adriaticas in the pits. Yes, that's the second pit stop of the day for Anu Voizu.
It's gonna put Malish up a spot to 12. Takuma Taki leading the race. Who would have thought? He was 10th early on.
Indeed, James Wilmington pits from 3rd place. Yes, I think it's just how the strategy is really played out for him so far, and as well as the various retirements we've seen, and of course Edvard Holm spinning out for no real reason.
Holm has still kept it out, but he's in the pits from 6th place. Would have been the lead, but whatever.
Yes, he was leading and then spun. Wasn't really under any pressure either.
It's Martin McFry for Foxdale Auto Racing Team. Better known as just Foxdale.
Indeed, he's closing in on Taki, but I imagine Taki will pit before McFry catches him. Just trying to see exactly how this pit strategy will play out, but I don't think it really makes a difference for McFry, who really seems to be in the best position to win this race now that BVN is out of the race.
Shinjo propping up the back of the field in 20th.
Benny Vuclay there making an ill-advised look to the inside of James Wilmington. They're both on fresh sets of tires, though, but Buclay's definitely had the better pace of these two, so we should be, imagine he should be closing back in on the back of the TBA before too long.
It's great to see Buclay have a bit of a, I want to say a bit of a renaissance after his very shaky start to his career. Everyone thought he was the new, he was the French version of Lance Stroll, but of course IndyCar driver Lance Stroll he is. But
yes,
showing that
IndyCar driver Lance Stroll.
Showing that he's got real pace when it matters in this ARWS reboot after 3 years.
Yes, given a competitive car and a well-reputed team, I think it's really shown exactly what kind of driver Benoit Buclay is. It's what we've always hoped to see from him. Just the talent that we always knew was there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know if the same can be said for Takuma Taki, who's leading the race, but he is in a position where he's leading the race, so that's good for him.
Taki has also been doing quite well this season, I think. He's given a much better account of himself versus his, of course, his 2019 champion teammate, BVN, than I think anybody would have expected.
Yeah, well, BVN has been without question and 100% predictably the faster driver at Racing Point. He's had much bigger issues with reliability than Taki, I feel like. Which, well, at least his car doesn't last as long, which of course helps Taki, that you can see him for somewhat longer in a top position in the race. But it probably also shows that maybe BVN has been a little more aggressive towards his car than Taki. And that while he has much more pace, it's also causing the car with the slightly brittle Koenigsegg engine to die sooner, as Riku Sokudo is in the pits.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting take. It is quite possible that BVN could just be pushing his car too hard, and that's what's causing all of his early retirements. Although, of course, he did thrash the field at ARWS Fatway and literally drove the wheel off it memorably.
Yeah. I mean, it still shows, BVN still shows he's a winner. He even beat Kicker to having more smoke from his car, reportedly, today. So he is, in fact, the smokiest driver in the Netherlands.
Takuma Taki is pitted, and that hands the lead to Martin McFry.
And where is Taki going to come out?
Oh no, Gary Pacer has developed an engine issue in the March 16. It's another Ford engine failure. Are there going to be any Fords still running at the end of this race?
I was wondering, Pacer would probably be ahead of Taki if he weren't slowed down by the engine issue, but
that's Toto Wolff I see bullying on the pit wall.
Indeed it
is. Terminal.
Yes, that's not going to last the remainder of this race.
And Toto Wolff, and you heard that Toto Wolff slamming the table in disgust here in Malaysia, throwing the headphones.
This has been one of Gary Pacer's best races in the ARWS. He's not going to see the finish of it, and it's going to be very bitter for Pacer, who's I think come under fire for his perhaps too much pace at times and then spinning off the track out of the lead, such as a Brands Hatch. But this time it's It's the Ford engine that's let him down. It's going to cost him any shot of a podium.
So Gary
You wanna
Pacer
check my
still
prediction?
smoking. I don't think he's gonna make it.
I don't think you can fake that. Václav
A lot of
Balic is
smoke.
now in the pits for his. I think this is his second stop.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yes, he'll be
one
pitting
more.
once more.
Where is Pacer? Last corner, yeah, he's slowing down. That's it. That's it for Gary Pacer. Halfway into the race.
And then finally gets it off the track after forcing Benoit Vauclair and James Wilmington to take evasive action in the approaching to the final corner. I imagine that'll be a good. They'll put a smile on Edvard Holmes' face, who spun while under pressure from Pacer, apparently.
So that puts us down to how many runners?
We are now down to 19
20.
runners still at this stage in the race, which is still quite a lot.
Or
I
19
think.
actually.
Yes.
19 runners with 28 laps to go, as we're on lap 30 of 57.
McFry now with a 7-second advantage over the sole remaining March 16 of Jesus Castel. I think both these guys still on the same two-stop strategy, so should be a straight fight to the finish between the pair of them. Taki another 13.5 seconds behind Castel. I'm not really sure he's any threat for the win here. Unless, of course, both of them retire for some reason. Now seeing Benoit Vauclair challenging James Wilmington for 5th place. Definitely has a lot of pace in that Foxdale, as he showed at the start of the race. And will be desperately trying to make up whatever he can. As yes, he makes that position stick on Wilmington, and now is chasing down John Bean for 4th place.
So that's a crucial move for Benoit Vauclair, as Foxdale 1st and 5th right now. That would be a lot of points for the championship. Especially McFry would welcome more points, because he's in a very decent position, all things considered.
Right now, as if the race finished as it stands right now, McFly would take over the championship lead by at 1 point from Klon.
Still way too early to tell, though. Still 27 laps to go.
Oh, absolutely! It's still a lot can happen in the rest of this race. It's certainly no guarantee that McFry will finish where he currently is, especially considering that is Carmen Alvarez Torrente making a scheduled pit stop. I think this is her first stop of the day. So I think she's on the one stop. And that is McFry 141.4 on his previous lap. I did think Cassell might have been catching, but I think that was probably just traffic from McFry. Well, now he's caught up to lap Klon currently in 11th.
So yeah, Klon 11th is the best of the Bentleys, so comparable to his other Bentley companions. He's done a very good job. Just outside the top 10. Doesn't really have anyone near him on track, which is probably better for Lon. He doesn't have to worry about fighting other cars, just focus on his pace, focus on his race, and all will be well.
Just focus on that championship.
Yeah, it's nice when you don't have to worry about other cars. Just worry about the track and the car, your car. So
he was running with his teammate earlier in the race. That was yeah, he was running in formation with Pierre Soleron right behind him earlier in the race. As we're now seeing Riku Sokoto in the pits with a brake issue on the Euromotor.
Oh, that's a lot of brake issues on cars.
Must be
Here,
the
yeah,
fifth by now.
I feel like the hot weather here in Sepang is definitely contributing to the brakes not having enough cooling. Or the cooling system may be slightly less performance, slightly less performing than normally.
I think that's going to wind up costing Sokoto a position because he still needs to pit once more. And now Klon has made his way up into 10th position ahead of him. Which is 2 vital points for Klon. Now would effectively mean he would hold the championship lead. Assuming McFly doesn't get any fastest lap points, which he probably will, but don't know for sure.
Well, he won't get the 20s. Benoit has this covered, but
yeah, he's yeah. The best he could do is get the 5 for third fastest laps. I'm not sure what exactly. That's a much better screen to take a look at that. Oh no, he wouldn't even get that, as John Beans put in a fastest lap, as has Edvard Holm.
I wonder if BVN has the fastest lap or something, or it's anywhere in the top 3.
I think Benoit Viclay has the fastest lap, but BVN might have the second fastest lap. As we now see him make his way up into 4th position, passing John Bean, and is now 11 seconds behind Takuma Taki in 3rd place. So not out of the question, I think, that Benoit Viclay could get on the podium here, but it's still 23 laps to go. He still needs to be about half a second a lap faster on average. Oh no, sorry. I was looking at the gap from Taki to Castell. That's 16 seconds between Taki and Viclay. Yeah, that's a bit more. That's a bit taller of an order. We're seeing Philippe Nicolas in 13th place. This is a fantastic run for the Frenchman, the 11-time ARWS race winner. Not really able to put up much of a fight to Václav Mališ there for that position, but he's still having a fantastic race here. Really doing everything he can to keep himself in the championship fight.
So still 19 cars out. I must have missed it, but is one of the mechas out actually?
Yes, that's Tomo Kazuma retired quite early on with an oil leak on her.
Tomo Kazuma out along that's early retirement alongside both Joneses. So I missed a lot there. So Jones still unlucky.
Oh yes, exceptionally unlucky for Jones this season. I get the feeling that Jacques Cousteau and Sammy Jones just cannot wait for the season to end. Now seeing Edvard Holm attacking Monica Flatter for 7th place here. I don't think he's got enough of an overspeed here to make a move into the final corner. He's probably going to take a look into the final first corner on this side. And indeed, going to try and use the Adriatic as a pick here. Oh, Flatter tried to force it free wide, but nope. And
50%.
But while he was doing that, Holm still allowed Torrente to stay ahead of him.
That was tactical genius, because Flatter just could not get out of Torrent's slipstream and had to slow down, thereby making this move very easy. So,
Yes.
brilliant strategic thinking or tactical thinking by Home here.
Yes, making up for his earlier disgrace by spinning off from the lead. He's not too far behind James Wilmington, but we do have yellow flags here. It's Václav Melish in the checkmate with a transmission issue.
What a shame for the Czech driver. That's a gearbox failure. I think it's the first one.
Why are you pushing that onto the track? Why are you pushing that onto the track?
Oh dear,
Oh god,
dear,
what are Marshall's doing here?
That is...
That is incredibly dangerous. What were you thinking, Mr. Marshall? Fortunately, that didn't cause any incidents, but that must have been quite scary for Clemency to see his teammate being pushed back onto the track, not under his own power.
I feel like the rogue Marshall probably bet on a checkmate double DNF, so he wanted to take Kramnitsky out. I can't think of any other reasoning behind this, but that was very dangerous, and thank goodness. And I feel like Kramnitsky personally had a very he had flashbacks from the Scandi Grand Prix where he crashed into McFry's slowing car, which put him out for a race. So
yeah.
So that Marshall's gonna get fired immediately.
Pay the marshals and they might actually be more competent. But anyway.
Don't tell Hildegard Shevchenko about this, otherwise she would actually give the marshal a seat with Euromotor.
I mean, the VTuber experiment is working okay, I guess, because Sokodo's still running in 11th, closing down quite quickly on Klon for 10th place.
Well, you can say it's a 9-11 for Euromotor, so it's not that bad. Sardog is a 9, and Sokodo's an 11.
Like,
no other connotations.
I think I gotta agree with Enforcer on the reject of the race thing of like the entire race. What ridiculous nonsense! This is also my entry for infinite probability drive. I think that's probably the best description of the race. That that the entire race on its own can qualify for both reject of the race and infinite probability drive of the race for the exact same reason. And I'd be hard pressed to disagree.
And Jesus Castell has taken over the lead as McFry is pitted from the lead. McFry now coming back out just ahead of his teammate, Bouclé. Well, not just ahead, but not too far. I don't know what kind of point I was going to make there. He's now in 3rd place behind Castell and Taki, who both still need to pit themselves.
We still have to wait for the timing to refresh to see what is actually the gap between Castell and McFry. So we'll have to wait until they cross the finish line again.
Yes. Castell, I think, will be pitting on the next lap. So Mark 16 quickly responding to the pit stop there by McFry, trying to keep Castell on as even tires as they can to try and give him the best shot of trying to catch him, but I'm not really sure if they have the pace in the car to run down McFry. Sokodo now lining up Klon for 10th place here. Uses the superior power of that Koenigsegg engine and breezes past before they even get to the next corner. Kremnitsky is still like a couple of seconds behind Nikola and not really catching him either. This is a real fantastic drive by Nikola.
Oh yeah, you can see why Nikola is a multi-time race winner, 11-time race winner in ARWS. He's also about 30 seconds ahead of his teammate.
Yes, but when you consider his teammate is Humbert Moyamoudier, that's not too surprising. But he's also about, what is that, 6.5 seconds ahead of Carmen Alvarez Torrente, though I do believe Nicolas still needs to make at least one more pit stop. Probably just one.
Pierre Saint Laurent is only 16th, which... a bit of surprise. I'm not sure if I missed him having any problems. It's very possible that he probably did. So.
Yeah, he had I think he had a brake issue himself. We didn't actually catch that, but he has some sort of technical issue and had to pit for that. As Jesus Castel is now pitting from the lead of the race.
Final pit stop.
Handing it over to Takuba Taki currently. And there comes Martin McFry. He will easily retake the race lead. The net race lead. Obviously, Taki is still leading.
So, McFry with a 41.5 last lap. McClay, we have seen 6.7 seconds behind his teammate, McFry. So, not too far back.
Although Vuclay still needs to make one more pit stop to make it to the finish of this race. So now seeing Nikola in the pits, as is, I believe, Andrei Kremnitsky.
Yep. Kremnitsky really should push a little more. It's been a bit of a disappointment. I'll qualify this team.
See if the Checkmates crew could get their car back out in front. And no, they can't.
Decidedly slower than Malish before he retired a few laps ago. But he needs to make a move on Nicolas quickly because I don't think the team expected. I don't think Martin Moravec expected the team to lose out to even one of the Mugen Honda powered cars. Also shows how much of an experience Philippe Nicolas has around in these cars. Actually, I need to see if. Oh yeah, this is the first time we haven't done Malaysian Grand Prix, so there's no results to speak of in Sepang.
There was a race scheduled here for the ill-fated 2020 season, but yes, this is the first actual race we've seen of ARWS cars around the Sepang circuit. The last time we saw a major single-seater race here was in 2015 with the Formula 1 Malaysian Grand Prix, which I believe that was still during the two-race era, where I think the second one was cancelled for the track breaking up or something. So it's been a while since we've seen these single seaters around the Sepang circuit, but they're putting on a good show here today.
It's a very good race. I feel like it's not a boring procession like
certainly not. It's
other tracks. And it's McFry lapping Sokodo.
I think the big battle here is between see if Taki could come out ahead or behind Jesus Castel. It's about a 20-second gap between them. And of course, Castel on the fresher tires should be catching Taki, who stays out another lap. He's still got a couple more laps before his pit stop. And Castel is currently caught behind Klon. That's not ideal for the Spaniard.
It's very good news for Taki, who welcomes this kind of, this kind of distraction for Castel.
As Barbone
Oh,
pulls the Takuma Taki there, making him overtake and then immediately pitting.
That could have ended badly, had he been next to Wilmington.
Yes. Fortunately, Wilmington braked normally for that corner. As the Pierre Saint-Laurent, still recovering from those earlier technical issues, is now passing Shinjo for 17th place. Although Shinjo needs to pit again, and Saint-Laurent does not.
So Naoki Shinjo, I believe, is the last driver that has finished every race this season. No, Nicola as well.
Yes.
But these two.
Yes, it's Nicola and Shinjo are the only two who have finished every race so far this season. We've still got 18 cars running here with 16 laps to go. Which is an extraordinarily high reliability rate given the... I'm not entirely sure what Anu Voizu was trying to do there. It was like she was trying to defend from Wilmington while he was lapping her. What? Or maybe she expected Wilmington to go to the other side of her? Moin Moutier now in the pits.
That's gonna give Shinjo another place. As Ardaglu comes out just ahead of the Frenchman. The Japanese driver for Macau. I thought I was talking about Moimochi for a second. So Moimochi is now dead last. He doesn't want that. Shouldn't be last after Shinjo makes a stop, but it's still not a particularly good race for him.
Taki still has another lap to do, and then probably will pit on the next lap after that. I still think it's very close whether or not he could get out back ahead of Castell. We'll just have to see exactly how it plays out. Castell, I think, is in clear air now, but...
he's also catching Vukla, so this could be still very interesting. I think Taki could be looking at a potential second place when the flag drops, but we'll still have to wait. There's still 16 laps to go, so depends. But Taki's a very decent position.
Of course, even if he comes out behind Castell, he will have fresher tires and might be able to, of course, make a move on the March 16 for second place. Shinjo now making his final pit stop of the race.
I should drop him to 18th and last by Moutier when all is done in the pits. McFry completes the lap with a 141.3, so about the same time as last lap. Vukla 7th and slower.
Yeah, so I think he's due a pit stop in a couple of laps. As we're now seeing another yellow flag. I think it might be for Takuma Taki.
If it is... No, that's ahead of him. Someone's off in the gravel.
Oh, yes.
That's...
Oh,
it's brake problem for someone. It's
Kinano Dalu is out with a brake issue. Could not get it back to the pits and is out of the race. That's the lead Euromotor out of the race. As Anu Voizu there is getting past Klon, although Klon is just making his final pit stop of the race. Voizu will be pitting in a couple of laps as well. But yes, that is Kinan or Dalu out of the race.
Well, another victim of the overheating brakes. I think Klon will have more info. I'm not. I'm actually not sure if the ARWS has a single supplier of brakes or if it's dependent on team. I genuinely don't know.
I think it could just
But the
be
brakes are overheating.
the brake settings, the brake cooling settings are just not quite enough to cover the extreme heat we're seeing here in Sepang Circuit, where we definitely are currently. I think that's Takuma Taki now pitting from the lead of the race. He has about a 14-second margin over Martin McFry, so this will hand the lead back to McFry, but we will have to see now if he comes out ahead or behind of Jesus Costello. Still hasn't quite caught Benoit Bouclé, so he's gotten a few good clean laps in.
So 14 laps to go as Taki has been let go by the team, by the pit crew at Racing Point.
Yeah, he's well behind Stell there, but within striking distance in the remaining 13 laps or so.
Yeah, as we see Bino Wilmington in the background, so he is just ahead of them, as Monticelli is lapped by the other Foxtail, as will be Castell soon. And there's John Bean lapping the Mecca, the Soul Mecca, lapped in the race. Monica Flatter still in the race. We're obviously hoping that she finishes.
Oh yes, of course.
100%.
Flatter's been. It's not been the most noticeable drive by Flatter, but still, a 7th place finish would do her a world of good. She's been one of the most unlucky drivers in this in the season, along with both Jones drivers and Edvard Holm, who's currently now in 8th place. I think,
Although this time it's not really being lucky about Holm. That was more on him than
more self-inflicted. Flasher should be pitching this lap. Wilmington the lap after, so I think that might. Oh no, we've got more yellow flags at turn 4. It is K1! The championship leader is out with a transmission failure! This has major chase implications!
Oh, that's a second Bentley out.
No, well, second Bentley-powered car out of the race.
And ironically, Kalon has parked his stricken Bentley Common next to the other Bentley. That's
Diego Alvarez
Jones.
Yeah, that's
Jones. That looks very similar to the checkmate from distance. But yeah, that's a second transmission issue for Kahama, for a Bentley powered car after Malish some 10 laps ago. That clip pits from 4th. His final stop.
And that means it should be a straight fight between Jesus Castell and Takuma Taki for second place, rather.
And I mean, this is huge news for not as much Nicolas and Alvarez Torrente, who would be jumping Kill, but especially McFry, because he would be the biggest winner.
McFry could well walk away from this race as a championship leader. If he can hang on for the last 12 laps of this race, it doesn't really look like anybody's going to be able to challenge him for the race win. Castell, he's not like massively out in front, but like I don't see Castell making up that gap in the remaining laps.
Well, I feel like the only possible threat to McFry's lead would be either the car or Taki.
It does
Castell
is out of the race with a transmission failure of his own.
That's
that is the table in the March 16 garage being comprehensively destroyed by Toto Wolff. Castell was on for at least a podium finish, if not second place. Now he gets nothing. James Wilmington and John Bean are pitting from third and 4th. This means that we do.
Look at the podium.
Yes, this could well hand over 3rd place to Benoit Vuclet.
But that's definitely one driver out, one driver less to worry about for McFry, which you'll probably be happy with. But yeah, another.
He has a 15-second lead over Takuma Taki with 11 laps to go. I don't see Taki having the pace to be able to run down and also pass Martin McFry. Benoit Vuclet now takes over 3rd place, but is that is a battle actually between himself and Edvard Holm for that position. Both of these cars on pretty fresh tires as James Wilmington is now retiring from the race with a suspension failure. They're dropping like flies here in Sepang as another car out in quick succession. And James Wilmington, who after I think the Norris ring was fancying himself as a bit of an outside championship hopeful. I think with this is his 2nd successive retirement, his 3rd successive retirement. It's I think any hope of him winning the championship has really gone down the drain.
Well, that was a connection fail, if I've ever seen one, because I was out of connection when Wilmington retired. But that was notably right after a pit stop, so I wonder if there was something to do with something over at TBA during the pit stop, if they didn't notice something was wrong, or maybe a tire fitted incorrectly, but Wilmington's out of this.
It's Edvard Holm now all over the back of Benoit Vuclet, who's not really looking that quick on these fresh tires, I think. And that is Holm going for 3rd place.
Like candy from a baby, that's ridiculously fast by Holm.
Yeah, whatever Vuclet's pace was in the early stages of this race, he does not seem to have it anymore. Holm is just rocketing away from the Foxtail in 3rd place now. So,
One wonders if there's not if there's like a problem on Vuclet's car. Maybe it's, maybe some overheating or something. It's detrimental to his pace, but Holm just.
Actually, maybe this race isn't as quite subtle as we thought, because Takuma Taki is absolutely flying right now. He's just taken out 1.6 seconds from Martin McFry. That gap is now under 12 seconds with 9 laps to go.
Well, the question is whether Taki's tires are gonna have the advantage for the rest of the race.
That is true, but if he catches up to McFly quickly, gives himself a lap or two to cool the tires, and then makes a move on the last lap, this could well be a race. Now seeing, I think that's John Bean and Monica Flatter also closing in quickly on Benoit Vuclet.
Meanwhile, it's worthwhile to know that Carmen Alves Torrente will walk out of the race as of now 36 points. That is a very large jump for her. Like, obviously McFry will take the championship lead if it stays as it is, but...
Yes, Carmen Alves Torrente, making the most of that one-stop strategy. I don't know if she'll be able to hold off her teammate, though, Anya Voizu, who's really just looking for any reason to get a decent result in the races. Now seeing... Oh no, this isn't a battle for position. This is Monica Flatter in 6th place, lapping Riku Sokoto, who's in 7th. And in fact, I think that is... Voizu is closing in on... might be closing in on Sokoto for 7th. But regardless, Carmen Navarre's Torrente with a quiet race of her own, still looking like she'll walk away with a good point stay, keep herself in the championship fight, which is exceptionally important with one of the main championship contenders, Klon, out of the race.
Having a look at the standings, it seems that Kramitsky actually did pass Nicholas along the way on the final stint, so...
Oh, that is true. We
about
did
time.
not notice that. But yeah, Kramitsky now up into 10th place. That'll be a good finish for him if he can hold on to it. Kramitsky's received the bulk of the ill luck in the checkmate garage, so a good top 10 result for him here will definitely get him feeling a bit better about himself.
For sure, as Holm has put 3.4 seconds now on Vekla, so this is maybe decided now.
Yeah, I
very weird pace from Vekla.
Yeah, I think the question for Clay now is can he hold off John Bean, who is now who was 2.3 seconds quicker than him on that previous lap, which is a lot. When it's just
it seems like Vekla may have had like some sort of issue. Like, has he locked up? Like, is his car like struggling for performance?
Maybe he just pushed it too hard in those opening laps, and he's. I don't know if the maybe the engine is failing, but maybe it's just not producing the quite the top end power that you'd normally get out of a Koenigsegg.
Or indeed, maybe we have praised him so much and he overexerted himself in this sweltering heat in Southeast Asia.
Yes, that's also a possibility. We're now seeing Taki now within 10 seconds of Martin McFly.
8 laps to go, so he'll need to catch up about 1.2 seconds per lap to make it happen, but...
McFly in the previous lap was 141.8. Taki was a 140.9. That's not going to be enough. Oh! Ooh, I think Taki had a bit of a moment there entering that corner. Have a look at the replay here.
Ooh, nearly homed it.
Maybe almost lost it, just like Ed Varnholm.
Some kind of bump there. Nearly caught up by the same piece of real estate as Edward Holm. All those laps before.
Jean Bean took another 2 seconds out of Benoit Veuclair on that previous lap. It's not looking like it's going to be a podium for Block Monster, but it will be another 4th place finish, where they do seem to be picking up a lot of those lately. Home now running similar pace to Veuclair. I think he's just backed it off now that he knows was over half a minute behind Taki, and of course not really under threat from Veuclair either, as we now seeing that is the race leader! Mark McFly with an oil leak!
Oh no!
Wide open! Even wider open than it already was.
Oh, this is unbelievable, and he was 1 lap away from being classified as well.
Well, I'm not sure exactly how that will work out, but what it does mean is that our race leader is Takuma Taki with 6 laps to go.
Well, all we know is not gonna get any points.
Well, he might get points. I don't know exactly how the classification will work out here.
He's gonna walk out with much less points than he would normally have if that is the case, but still, like, that's cruel for McFry. Well, whose engine is now
it should
McFry.
be lap 52 for 90% classification.
Yeah,
because it's 51 point something per 51 point something.
51
laps,
actually. He needs 51 laps because they round.
Yes, but it has to be 52.
Again, GP2 rounding can be a bit weird.
Right. It should
anyway,
it should always round up though.
So he completed 50, so it's not enough regardless. And anyway, essentially it's McFry, so that's it for
Does mean, though, that John Bean could get a podium here if he can catch and pass Benoit Bouclé in the remaining laps of this race. He's within 3 seconds last time around.
Has he yet raised his deficit of negative
Oh,
points?
yes. He scored points last time out.
Yeah, but is he back over the minus?
Yes,
50?
he is. He only had like -6. So,
Okay.
Put
so
Sokono into the top 6 of the run in order.
That's quite the result for the VTuber if he can hold on to it, but he does have Anu Voizu only about 5 seconds behind. Voizu's not closing that quickly, though. I don't think she'll be able to catch him. But what a monster lead that Takuma Tagi has. 40 seconds over Edvard Holm. All he has to do now is basically just walk it home from here. Holm, of course... Well, actually, he's taken... okay, maybe that was just the resetting itself after the McFry incident, but for still half a minute up to the good. Holm, of course, is that far behind because he spun out from the lead earlier in this race. What might have been if he hadn't done that? He'd be in prime position to win this race. Instead, he'll have to settle for second at best. Bouclé now is stuck behind Humbert Moya-Moutier, probably the worst place in the track to be stuck behind the slower car. And,
Bean's not far back. Just needs to pass the yellow flag. Sorry, yellow flag. Someone stop.
That's Edvard Holm
again.
Oh no! A transmission issue for Edvard Holm!
Oh dear.
And his ill luck continues. What does this man have to do to catch a break in this series?
Well, suddenly, John Bean is on the podium.
And John Bean is in now in a battle for second place. He gets past Humbert Moya-Moutier, and he's now not that far behind Benoit Bouclé.
Well, they probably got rid of the marshal because the other marshal's done his job properly at the hairpin, which kudos to him. Anyway, Taki now leads by stupid amount of time from Vekla in second. That should be about 40 seconds-ish. 39 seconds, 0.5, and Bean 1.1 behind Vekla, so we have a fight for second.
Yes, I think Bean has used up the best of his tires now. He's only about 4/10 quicker than Bouclé on that previous lap. Might be due to them lapping Humbert Moya-Moutier, but regardless, if they have they have a clear track ahead of them, so it's a straight fight between Bouclé and Bean for second place. And now I have only 12 cars still running. The heat in Malaysia really taking its toll on these ARWS cars, especially late in the running here.
Wow, what a turn of events here at the Sepang racetrack in Malaysia. Probably a lot of cars failing out near the end of the race. Just absolutely treacherous conditions for the cars in terms of heat. But seems like Takuma Taki's done the best job so far handling this. Or rather his car, the combination of the two. As John Bean is 3 laps away.
Yes, he's really starting to close in on Bouclé. Again, he's probably had the best of those tires, but maybe he still has enough in the tank. He has half a second quicker on that previous lap. Got the gap down to under a second now. 4 laps to go, I think. Yeah, it should be 4 laps to go. So, plenty of time to make a move here is, that is Takuma Taki making a mess out of lapping Philippe Nicola, but it doesn't really matter because he's so far in front. He could practically walk home and win this race. Bean, I don't think was really able to gain much in that first sector there. We'll see how the timing works out through sector 2 here as they come through that. Okay, I guess that wasn't the timing line for sector 2. John Bean now lining up for Clay down the back straight, makes a move to the inside. Can he make it stick? And he can! John Bean takes second place!
It's second place for the Australian-born British driver
very far away
with
from
sponsorship
Indonesia.
from Jagonia
From
Ayam.
that region in the crowd.
Sorry, what's that, Klon?
A lot of Indonesian fans in the crowd. They will be pleased with that.
Oh, absolutely. John Bean, we don't know why you're sponsored by Jagonia Ayam, but it's definitely putting a smile on the faces of the crowd here.
Well, it was said that he was part of the project involving Antonio Giovinazzi, who was also personally sponsored by Ricardo Gilel in the mid-2010s, and of course it helped that John Bean raced for Mecca, but still, like, what a color scheme. What a color scheme, we love that. Yellow and red. KFC chicken goodness. Second place for Bean. Well, bean's a vegetable. Chicken obviously is not. But
Monica Flatterkin, it's been a very quiet race for her, but she's in position to take a very, very well-deserved 4th place given the amount of unreliability she suffered this season. And,
somehow Humber Muemuchi is going to come out with 11th place finish because he did the bare minimum. He is 50 seconds by Nicola.
He's still going to finish ahead of Naoki Shinjo though, which is exactly which I think really puts a stranglehold by Holiday over Mecha in the standings at least, and with of course Klon also out of the race. This really means this is really a great race for Holiday, with their cars 9th and 11th scoring well with the unreliability of their competitors and especially their direct competitors. They could well this race could well be be what ultimately gives them that constructors championship at the end of the at the end of the year. Maybe the closest. Yeah, Voizu not really closing in quick enough on Riku Sokoto for 5th place, but still a great drive by the Estonian winner, of course, at Monaco, and especially given her earlier brake issues, this has been a fantastic drive by her. She's, of course, overtook her teammate a little earlier in this stint, and now has opened up an 11-second gap with the much fresher tires, despite that technical issue. She is slowly closing in on Sokoto, but as said, it won't be enough to really make a difference ultimately, as Kumataki now on his final lap with a 41 nearly second advantage over John Bean. It's just a few more corners for Taki to take that first win.
Who would have thought it when he was racing in 2019 for Euromotor, the absolute backmarker, Takuma Taki, who was thought as being a very slow driver without talent.
Yes, not really very well rated, but I think that really goes to show how far talent evaluation has come in the last few seasons, because Racing Point really seemed to have caught on to something that nobody else really saw. And Takuma Taki has really proven them right by for giving him this chance as he rounds the final corner, and Takuma Taki will win the Malaysian Grand Prix.
Is that it? Takuma Taki gets the win, second win of the year for Racing Point. Kramnitsky 8th, that's a good finish. He'll take that.
An excellent finish by Philippe Nicolas, who was in a bit of a race-long battle with Kramnitsky. He winds up finishing 9th. Pierre Saint-Laurent, after his issues, winds up 10th. And now we wait for John Bean to come around and take the first podium for Block Monster. They've had a few close calls this season, but now they finally get it, and it's going to be John Bean who delivers them that podium. Benoit Vouclair winds up 3rd.
Fletcher's gonna finish finally. After all this bad luck, she takes home P4.
Next car
Moimuche finishes in 11th.
Is Humbert Moyen-Moutier. Quiet drive by him, but I think the bosses at Hollanday will be more than pleased with that, as Riku Sokodo now comes around to take a very solid top 5 finish. A great drive by the VTuber. Naoki Shinjo is the last car running in 12th. Anu Voizu is 6th.
And Carmen Torrente will be the last driver to finish. The last driver on the lead lap. 7 for Adriatica.
Well, no, she was lapped, but still good.
She wasn't. Actually, I don't think she was.
No, she was definitely lapped. There's no way a W12 is finishing on the lead lap.
Oh, right. I thought it was.
Yeah.
Oh, right. There was a lap between Flatter and Sokodo. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's a great result for Torrente in the championship, because it does, with her main championship rivals aside from Nicola all retiring, she really does. I'm not sure exactly how to point. Probably Nicola's still the championship leader, but Torrente might move up into 2nd here.
Nicolas is on 300 and Alvarez Torrente is on 298, unless my math fails me.
So, looking at the points, looks like McFry lost out on 24 points by retiring a lap too early to get classified, which is a big shame.
Edvard Holm does at least get a classification, although he still hasn't actually been running at the finish of any of these races so far. But he does at least get the points for 13th. It could have been so much more, though. As we look further down the field, lots of transmission and engine failures. We also saw a lot of brake issues, but most of the drivers were able to get those back to the pits and get those fixed. But what can you say about Jones Racing? 24th, 26th, both cars out very early on.
Found on road dead.
Yes, that is found on road dead, all of the Ford-powered entries, except for Riku Sokoto. Kalon was online for a good point stay as well. Transmission failure. Martin McFry, as we mentioned, looked nailed on to win this race, as did BVN earlier. Both of them out. Emma Kickert probably could have won this race had she not retired. Gary Pacer had one of his best races and he retired as well. So it's championship wide open, especially as we look at the fastest laps. Benoit Vouclair takes home the fastest lap, the second of his career. As BVN
I see no sight of the Ira Motors.
Well, of course not. When their fastest lap times are more comparable to the Adriaticas than anything else running an I3.
Yeah, again, I think Hildegard, Schifter, and Neumann will not be keeping the status quo for next year. This team is underachieving. They know it.
But with that, we will see you next time with the race from Simmons Plains in Tasmania, Australia. Not the Tasman Grand Prix, the Australian Grand Prix. See you then!